Today we're gonna judge this episode of Judge Mathis. Okay, before we get into this TV judge's case, let's talk TV judges. Let's talk TV judges. I hate to break it to you, but they aren't actually judges. What they are arbitrators. They are arbitrators, and the individuals in their courtrooms agree ahead of time to have them decide on their case. So what's arbitration? It's a private process where parties in a dispute with one another agree to have one or more individuals decide on their case. But let's not get arbitration mixed up with mediation. The two are very different. Arbitration differs from mediation because the neutral arbitrator has the authority to make a decision over the matter, and the decision can be either binding or non-binding. If the decision is binding, that means it's final and can be enforced by any court and only appealed on very narrow grounds. If the decision is non-binding, that means the arbitrator's award is only advisory and can only be final if accepted by both parties. Otherwise, the arbitration process is similar to trial in the fact that both parties make opening statements and both parties can present evidence to back up those statements. A drawback could be the fact that neither party has to really follow state or federal law, and federal rules of evidence don't apply. But as a simple fix, the process could be less time consuming and less expensive than going to a traditional court setting. This is why so many individuals choose arbitration. Now that we know what these TV judges really do, let's evaluate their decision making.
Plaintiff Sarah Rizzo started dating the defendant after they met online, and he claimed he was single. But months later, Sarah found out the defendant was married and living with his wife. Sarah's suing her ex for a bail bond and emotional distress.
Whenever you date somebody, and I'm not a relationship doctor or anything, but whenever you start dating somebody, please find out whether or not they're single. That's the first step.
Chad Fenson admits that he was dishonest while dating Sarah, but insists their relationship started off strong. Chad feels Sarah is suing him prematurely.
He's an honest guy.
Well, me and Chad, we had met online, and we started off our relationship, and we built, and we started dating for about 6 months, and into our relationship.
I'm sorry, ladies, but majority guys you're going to meet online are going to be lying to you. Majority guys you're going to meet online are going to be lying to you. Or are going to be in a relationship or married, so just be cautious of that.
I found out that Chad's whole past was a lie. Everything from beginning to end. When we were dating, he was not
He
single.
shake his head,
he was
yes.
actually married, and is still currently going through a divorce. So he denied that to me after a long time.
Was he living with her?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was.
He says, oh yeah.
And as our relationship progressed, it was just constant, unbelievable lies about multiple women, about drugs, about places he's been, things he was doing.
How long did you all stay together?
We were together on and off for 2 years.
He carried this lie for 2 years.
Know all these things.
I say I found out about 5 to 6 months after us of being together, and I only found out because I did my own research on Google, and I found out that he has an extensive background as well.
Okay, so the same research she did 2 years later is the same research she could have did when she met the guy. I'm sorry, I can't help but give relationship advice. I can't help it.
All right. You want to give me some background?
Good morning, Your Honor, first of all. Pleasure to be here. So me and Sarah started off real strong.
You just happy to be there.
We built a lot of love for each other.
He said they started real strong based on lies.
Professionally minded folks, that's what we were. And, it fizzled from there. I was a dishonest person, let's be honest about that.
Let's be honest about you being dishonest. Got it.
Okay, but
I was a dishonest person, let's be honest about that.
Matter of the situation. I was living with my wife at the time. I moved out of my wife's house to another girlfriend's house. All the while still talking to her.
Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, but this guy's still alive.
Giving her the impression that, I'm single and I'm living with my brother, which the whole time was a flat out lie.
What about all the other things? She said she discovered a criminal record. What did you discover?
I was told, according to one day we got pulled over, that he was armed and dangerous. He has a suspended
Who told you
license.
that?
The police officer when he got pulled over.
All right. Did they then take him and disarm him?
That's what it stated on his record that he
No,
had.
you were there.
Okay, to my knowledge, usually when the police are looking for somebody, that's when they become armed and dangerous, or that's when an alert comes out that they are armed and dangerous when the police are trying to apprehend someone. So I'm kind of confused right here.
Said he is currently
No.
armed and dangerous.
That his record is marked as he's armed and dangerous.
Oh,
He has a
okay.
warrant, or I'm sorry, a restraining order at that time. It just
Okay.
came up when they
Why did
pushed
they
his
take
ID.
him to jail?
They didn't, at that time, they didn't take him to jail. They just stopped him.
While you all were with the police, the
Uh-huh.
police said, "Sir, this says you're armed and dangerous.
Correct.
Instead of shooting to kill, we're gonna let you go." All right. Then what happened?
Can I just clarify
sentence.
that?
Go ahead. Yes.
They titled me as armed and dangerous as a formality because of that.
As a formality.
restraining order, because
I think you all might have that a little wrong. Everybody else I've heard stamped as armed and dangerous because they're being sought. But nonetheless, they let him go. And when did he go to jail, causing you to bail him out and therefore sue him?
He was arrested October 2nd, 2015. He was arrested for a warrant for failure to appear in court for something regarding his divorce and some other issues. And he had then called me from Cook County and had asked me to bail him out because he had nobody else to do it. At this time, he had just
Sounds like
been
a
out
favor
2
to
weeks
me.
prior because he lied to me about saying he was going home to go to sleep when he was with his ex-girlfriend as well. So he begged me to come and bail him out. I skipped out on a day of my family vacation to help him out because at the time I still had feelings for him, so I wanted to help him.
Oh, wow.
So I waited 6 hours outside of county and I bailed him out for that incident.
All right. And
She
you
waited
repay-
6 hours.
So he did.
All right. How much was it?
Well, the original bond was $500 and then there was a $10.65.
How much did you pay?
I paid $510.65.
All right. And when was he to repay you?
He said that once he went back to work that week, he would repay me then.
The entire amount, 510.65.
Correct.
Okay, for me, I'm going to need to see or hear some evidence. Remember, this is an arbitration meeting. I'm going to need, as a judge, to hear some evidence about the promise he made to pay this money back. Because if she can't prove to me that he made a promise to pay this money back, then to me, it's just a gift. Sorry.
And what occurred thereafter?
Thereafter, Chad was released from jail. He had a court appearance. When he went to court, they took the money and sent me a check of $91.05, and they used that rest of his bond money for his court fine.
You asked for your money. What has he said?
Yes, I have numerous text messages where he says, "Okay, I'll do what I can."
Okay, the text messages may be enough evidence.
And he had a pound of marijuana in his car, and from that incident,
He getting high.
he lost his job at that point.
Sir, what do you want to say about that?
you know,
By the way, anytime you run into a playboy like that, they're usually broke because they spend all their time chasing women instead of money.
Okay, so Judge Mathis, I don't know what you're talking about, but the playboys I know, the playboys that are in Houston, where I'm from, a lot of them playboys got a little cash on them. So I'm just saying, buddy, not an accurate statement. It's more of an opinion.
He's going to hit on you for some money at some point because he's broke.
I'll
Woman. Who has time to work? One woman pulling on him for 2 days, the other one pulling on him for 2 days, the other one, I want 1 day. I'm giving you some insight here. Go ahead, and you all know when they play boys because they coming to you borrowing money, or they getting caught with a pound of weed in the truck.
So as far as the pound of weed, that it was not a pound of weed. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
right.
that's irrelevant. But I got arrested in regards
That's
to what she's
irrelevant.
mentioning. I don't owe her because there was a time where I said I would give her some money if I could.
Okay, so if he actually said, I will give you some money if I can, that is not a promise to repay. I've never known anyone to go and get something on credit and say, I'll pay this back if I can. So if he in fact has some proof as to whether or not he told her I'll pay you back if I can, then to me, I'm sorry, this is just a gift.
And you haven't been able to?
Nope.
All right. Told you. Perfect example, right?
Right.
Your emotional distress is for what?
Each state has their own tort law regarding emotional distress. But I'm going to give you a tidbit of law per the state of New Mexico. In New Mexico, for a plaintiff to be able to prevail on an emotional distress claim, they must prove that the defendant's actions was first extreme and outrageous under the circumstances. Second, they must prove that the defendant acted intentionally and recklessly. And third, as a result of the defendant's actions, the plaintiff suffered extreme and emotional distress. The third element, suffering extreme emotional distress, has to be manifested by things like severe depression, anxiety, maybe documented by a physician. So in order to prevail, you'll need to prove those three elements. As stated before, these courts don't really have to follow any state or federal law. I'm just giving you a bit of law on what a plaintiff would have to prove in a traditional court setting. But, of course, this is an arbitration hearing, and this is a TV judge or an arbitrator. So let's see how Judge Mathis is going to decide on this.
Which has lack of payment for, I was unable to pay for my school tuition to go back to finish my last year of my bachelor's in nursing.
All right, well, you shouldn't have loaned it to him. Whenever there's a
I agree.
debt, can't sue for emotional distress for a debt, because I'm sure you've been late with your landlord, you've been late with the phone company, you've been late for a small business. Everybody, for the most part, has been late for some obligation, and that owner may not be able to meet his loan debt because you didn't pay him in time.
So although Judge Mathis is correct in this, I would say she cannot prevail on this claim if he's going to follow any typical law, any general law regarding emotional distress. She can't prevail on this claim because first, his conduct wasn't extreme and outrageous. He asked for a favor. He asked for her to bail him out of jail, and she did it. Two, I don't think the third element is met. I don't think she's experienced any severe emotional distress from this incident, evidenced by some documented anxiety or depression because of his actions of not paying her back. So I don't think she can prevail on this for those reasons, and that would have been my reasoning to her if I was a TV judge, which I can be, networks, if you're looking in for a new Judge Mathis, because I know he's going off the air, but I would have definitely followed some sort of law on this claim.
So I'll grant you your $410. He admits to agreeing to paying you some, but I'm going to conclude and believe you and say he agreed to pay it all. But chasing women has caused him to stay broke.
Okay, so yeah, I would disagree with Judge Mathis in this case. Because the man, to my knowledge, didn't actually agree to pay some. He'd say, I would pay you some when I can. That is not a promise to repay back anything. To me, that is a gift. That is a favor. So she should not have loaned him the money. I think she should have saw the red flags, but she's an adult. He asked her to bail him out of jail. She did it. There's no evidence to me that he promised to repay it back, so I think Judge Mathis missed it on this one. My award would have been for the defendant in this case. Thank you for tuning in today as I reacted to that episode of Judge Mathis. Please tune in to some of the other videos as I do other reactions and react to other judge shows. And please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get these numbers up. Thank you for your support. See you next time.